This is our Facebook Live for Monday, June 15th. And we are now reducing, because we were opening the clinic, soft opening tomorrow. Hi, Jatinder. Welcome. We are soft opening the clinic tomorrow. So we are, we've been working the entire time and launched the Facebook Lives. But this, right now, we are opening back up to seeing one-on-one visits, and it's a slow opening because we have to have minimal amounts or a reduced amount of people at the clinic at one time. So, but tomorrow's the first day, and since everyone is starting to practice again, we are reducing the Facebook Lives. However, it was launched out of just, the need because of the pandemic, and we wanted to be of service because it was such a unique and crazy time in our lives, which most people have never experienced anything like this. And we popped on every single day. It started off 5 days a week, and masterclasses starting March 18th, I believe, because we closed the clinic 17th. It was March 18th or 19th. And we were on every single day, which, it was full on dedication. No matter what each of the practitioners were personally going through, plus dealing with the clinic, we're on daily, and that was just something that we felt called to do, to be of service. And we realized that it was just so incredible to do these Facebook Lives and to be on with you every single day. That we decided, even as we open, we're going to maintain and continue. However, obviously we can't continue at the same amount of veracity of content that we were pumping out. It's just not possible, because after the live, we write up the summary, we send it out, and it really was quite a dedication. So as the practice will open up and require more of our time, we still are going to do the Facebook Lives, but at a reduced schedule. So keep up with our newsletters. They will also indicate the times and indicate that now we're doing 2 Facebook Lives a week. Every week there will be 2 Facebook Lives. Check for the topics. They will be Mondays and Wednesdays, and we've changed the time from 4 p.m. to 1 p.m. Just so it could be like a little bit easier. 4 seemed to be an odd time for some people. 1 may be an odd time for some people as well, but it will always be up for replay, so you can check that out too. Also, secondly, there's going to be Masterclass now 2 per month versus 4 per month. So we've reduced it because that's a longer, kind of more in-depth. It takes quite a bit of time to really research for that, plan it out, write it out. It's like an hour seminar, essentially. So that's going to be twice per month and a lot longer, deeper dive into a certain topic. And thirdly, we're going to have topics or themes. So this month is stress. June is stress month. I think probably from March onwards, all the Facebook Lives were stress related, but this time we are making it a set topic theme, and it is stress this month. In particular, this topic because Dr. Jeff is launching an online program, his first ever, and the webinar starts soon, so we wanted to just be supportive of his topic, which is stress related and overwhelm. And he has layers of overwhelm and assessment tools that you can kind of check into and check out the webinar as he launches it. So that's really why we chose stress. Lastly, a little bit of housekeeping. When we first started the Facebook Lives, we were doing it, as we said, daily. There was a big newsletter. We pumped it out every single day. And as much of our intention was to be of service, some people found it irritating because there's too many newsletters being sent out. So now we have created a separate newsletter that you can sign up to in order to get newsletters related to Facebook Live content only. So that's the replays, that's the links, that's the YouTube links, the Facebook links, the links to the summaries, the written summaries by each of the doctors, and the schedule. So that's on a separate link. That was also sent in the newsletter, but it appears that a lot of people missed it. So now we are really trying to actively promote that link to get more and more people on it, because it seems like that link was missed. But it was sent out, and we initially had about 40 people sign up to it. We have quite a huge list for our newsletter, but 40 people signed up to it. And then we realized that probably not everyone saw it. So we're really trying to encourage you to sign up to that Facebook link. And then you can get everything news related to the Facebook Lives. So that's the intention for that too. So today I changed the topic. I just felt more inspired. Everything that I'm trying to do from now on out is to spark joy for me, and the topic I chose seems to be very highly related to the topic I chose for next week as well, because I'll be on again next Monday. So I thought I'll just do those two together, and today I will change the topic to something that I really love. It really made a huge change in my life, a huge impact in my life, and it's free and not easy. So that's something that I really enjoy kind of diving deep into, to figure out why it's not easy, where that comes from, and how to kind of transform it. And that's all part of health mastery. So I wanted to discuss today, so share if you want with your friends. I would love that. You can host a watch party. That would be incredible. But the topic today is 3 benefits of hot, cold showers and stress, in particular, reducing stress. So what is a hot, cold shower? It is really like ultimate mastery. It is so much easier to take a vitamin or a pill, or have someone tell you, you know, you got to take this supplement twice a day, whatever it is, or head to a health food store, versus doing a cold shower, which essentially is free. And you know, many traditional cultures grew up without having running hot water, and cold water was the norm. So I really truly believe that hot water showers and the extent of how long we are in the hot water without being exposed to cold is quite a new phenomenon for, you know, the last couple of generations. But traditionally there wasn't really hot water running in a lot of traditional cultures, so it wasn't the norm. And even I went to an eco-friendly farm to do a breath retreat, to learn how to do conscious breath work, rebirthing breath work. And it was an eco-friendly farm in Mexico, Cabo San Lucas. And it was solar powered panels for the kitchen. There was no electricity. There's one little panel where sometimes we can get Wi-Fi. I think it's better there now that they have Wi-Fi, but this was several years ago, and there's really no Wi-Fi. The toilets were beautiful, but they were like a set box, which was basically porta potties, but they're really like not like those blue plastic ones. They were quite beautiful, actually, strange as that is to say. And the showers were outdoor showers and cold, so it was completely secluded. It was quite beautiful, actually. There's stones on the ground. There's bamboo gates all around, so no one could see in. But in an eco-friendly farm, there's no running hot water, so it was cold water showers. And luckily, I had started to train myself with cold showers prior to going there. Otherwise, it would have been quite the shock to my system, and on top of everything else that you're trying to get used to when you're on an eco-friendly farm, basically being stripped of all modern day luxuries, but in so much comfort and so much connection to nature. So, you know, it's this strange dichotomy that one of the things I didn't have to get used to too much was the cold showers, because I really tried to train myself on that before going, not knowing that I was going to this farm and not knowing that that's all they had there. It did help, obviously, that, you know, Cabo San Lucas, even at 7 in the morning, it's quite hot, so that helped as well. But still, even when it's hot out, people take hot showers. So this is something that I want to touch upon. So hot, cold showers, what it is you are not taking like a 15-minute straight sheets of cold shower. You're taking your normal shower, and the benefits from what I've researched, and there's various ways of doing hot, cold showers, the benefits come when you take your normal shower. towards the end of the shower, for 30 seconds to a minute, you pop up the heat a little bit so it's tolerable to your skin, but it's hotter than what you normally are in for the previous part of your shower, the initial part of your shower. And then it's pretty hot. You do it a little bit hotter for like a minute or two, and then you drop the temperature, not gradually, but you want a hot to cold, so no hot water at all, drop in your shower to ice cold. So you want that hot to cold jump, and you stand under that water. And so it could take time for you to get used to. In fact, I'm guaranteeing you that it will take time to get used to. And so try to do it slowly and gradually. And it could be that you're starting off with 4 seconds. It could be that you're starting off with 1 or 2. It could be that you're starting off with just, like a knee or a foot. I don't recommend that. I really recommend diving in and just getting your whole body wet for that 4 seconds. And then the next day you try 5 seconds. And then the next day you try a little bit more and more and more, and so on. And so you slowly work yourself up to 30 seconds, and you want to do your entire front, your entire back. And when you're doing it, you're counting. I count Mississippi's, so I don't want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, that's not really 5 seconds. So I do 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3. So it's an actual 3 seconds, proper seconds. If you have, access to a timer, you can set your timer, but I think counting is great. So if I'm doing it properly, I'm not speeding through my counting, because that's part of the process of one of the benefits, which I'll go through, is slowing and being slow and intentional in the shower. Because once that shock of that cold hits you, it really it's just shock, and your body just wants to speed everything up and go into panic mode, which the training is in that knee-jerk response, and I'll go into that. But when your body goes into that panic mode, which you're actually triggering, that's where the nugget of beauty, of healing, is in that kernel, so of that knee-jerk reaction. And that's where the healing is, and that's what you want to get to. So working up slowly from like 30 seconds, and then slowly you could get to 45 seconds, a minute. I've gotten myself up to 1.5 minutes, and so I count Mississippi's for a minute, and then I'll answer that in a second. So then I count up to a minute, and then so I do 30 seconds on my front. This might be too much information for you all, but I will share anyways. 30 seconds on my front, and then I count 30 seconds where the water is hitting my total back. If I'm not washing my hair that day, I don't let the water hit my head. And if I'm washing my hair that day, I will put my hair under the water. And then 30 seconds back on the front again, and then I close the shower. So you always finish with cold. So the knee-jerk reaction also could be to want to put back hot so you don't feel cold, and that's just the brain playing mind games with you. That's not actually how the body works. That's the mind tactics of the brain, the mind effery that goes on in the brain, and that you want to catch. That in that is the wisdom. In that mind effery that the mind does is the wisdom that you want to transform. So you always finish with cold. You could do several sets, so then you could go back up to the hot and then go down to the cold. So for another minute, you could go back up to the hot and then go down to the cold again. And yes, you want it to be no hot water. So I don't really recommend like slowly turning the shower. Like, you need to turn it to cold. The only way that the jump the healing happens is from that jump from hot to cold. You'll notice that in a lot of European cultures, they do this, and they use the ice and the sauna. So in like Finland, their doctors are the saunas and the ice baths. So they'll do a sauna, jump into the snow, back in the sauna, jump into the snow. And even if you go to our community pools, there's saunas, and then there's ice cold showers outside, and then people do that back and forth, back and forth. So you need the jump from hot to cold. And when you're slowly, gradually doing it, that's the mind game you have to catch, because that is an illusion, and we'll get into that. So caution from doing the hot cold showers is if you have, say, heart disease, you want to check your doctor. If you have low history of low blood pressure or high blood pressure, and you can't handle the hot cold dysregulation, you got to check with your doctor. If you have a history of migraines, that jump might affect your migraine. Pacemakers, anything heart related. And for women, when you are on your menstrual cycle, I don't recommend doing anything like this. It's too energy consuming, and I really think menses is a time for rest and going within and not exerting a whole bunch of external energy. And this does exert a lot of energy in a good way, but with menses, I think it's really a time to go in and not even really like much movement or exercise, which we've been taught in North America to do that, but it's not the right time. That's a whole other topic. Perhaps maybe I could talk about that at another Facebook Live, but I really don't believe that, for menses, just don't do the cold showers during that time. Just avoid it. So your goal is to do this every single day. Every time you have a shower is so you have your normal shower, the normal temperature, then you bump it up for like a minute or so, and you want to stand in that hot water, and then you drop it to cold. So the healing is in from the hot to the cold. So you don't want like your medium temperature and then you're dropping it a little bit. That's not the healing. The real healing comes from the hot to the cold. And so when I'm in my shower, it's like there's no hot water whatsoever. And that is the healing. So does that make sense to everyone, the process of it? And I'll go over quickly the 3 benefits of why this helps to reduce stress. But it should be that hot to cold jump. And if you are gradually doing it, that's part of the fooling yourself, and that's the mind games that go on. And so I'll go into that. Does that make sense? Does anyone have any questions about that? So Jatinder's throwing up a thumbs up. My mom is watching. I will send her a wave. She probably logged off because I think she finds my Facebook Lives boring, which... also, she came to one of my seminars once and slept in the front row, but that is another story. So, and she totally denies it, but it's true. So, any questions about the process of doing it? Does that make sense of how you actually do it? And then I'll talk about why you will do it. So I don't see any questions. Seems clear. Yeah, she totally did. It was like I was really sick. Jatinder's laughing. I was really sick. I was supposed to be doing a talk at the Vancouver Public Library. And I was like, I gotta cancel. At the clinic I was working at the time, there was several doctors doing talks there, and I was so sick. And I was like, I gotta cancel. And my mom's like, I'll drive you there, so you just do your talk and you come back. And so then she drove me there, and I check in the second row, and she's like sleeping. So... And I remember the talk too is about stomach acid levels and digestion. And I probably still have it somewhere, but it's on a hard drive disk, so I don't have a computer to open it. But yeah, so really 0 interest in stomach acid levels or listening to that seminar that day at the Vancouver Public Library, which actually had good turnout. But there's no one around my mom when she was sleeping, which is hilarious. Anyways, I didn't get rattled by it. I thought it was pretty funny. So my mom's probably like mortified that I'm telling this story. But anyways, it was super funny. Okay, to the benefits. Let's get back to the benefits. So why are we doing this? So first benefit. This is with everything. Think about what's going on in the world. Think about feelings, what's going on culturally in the world right now. Think about this virus, what it evoked in you. Think about any kind of discomfort that is evoked by current modern events that are currently going on. They're not placed in you, those uncomfortable feelings. They're inside and being brought out. So you can't, when you have a glass of water and you slam it on the counter, when the water overspills, it can overspill only because the cup was full. So you can't overspill from an empty cup. So the subconscious programming, by making ourselves uncomfortable from the shock of this cold water, is what we're trying to reform. So as you go into the shower, and this cold shower is not fun, you can find stillness in it, you can find beauty in it, but it is an absolute shock. Make no bones about it. It is an absolute shock to your nervous system. And the chatter that goes on while you are forcefully putting yourself through this, or you're willing to put yourself through it, but you're voluntarily putting yourself through this, but why? When you do this, it will bring up that subconscious chatter. That subconscious chatter is like, don't do this, maybe do it tomorrow, do it later, I don't understand why you're doing this, other people don't have to do this, and so on and so forth. And maybe do it half the time, maybe slowly graduate to a lesser temperature. This doesn't make any sense. You don't have to do this. Just enjoy your shower. You're having a warm shower, you're comfortable. So Donna's just popped on. Hi Donna, welcome. So that mind chatter that comes up when going into the cold part is the underlying swampy tape that we want to come to the surface, because it is playing all the time. Welcome Donna, I'm just gonna send you a little wave. So that undercurrent of you not wanting to take this cold shower and all the chatter that comes to the surface is always there. So whether it's not wanting to quit your job, whether it's being put in an uncomfortable situation, whether it's like, I have this job that I want to do, but I'm gonna wait a couple of years because I'm not ready to open my own thing yet, I'm not ready to change my status of something yet, I'm not ready to embark on whatever, I'm not ready to let go of a friendship or a relationship that's not great for me, I'm not ready to be on my own when I know that this person is clearly not in my best interest. It's all that chatter of don't make yourself uncomfortable. I'm not ready to have that uncomfortable conversation. All that chatter is in there already, and it's just being brought to the surface. When I first started doing cold showers, I would have a negotiation of epic proportions. So I made it a non-negotiable that I had to do this for, I think it was 30 days, and I did it throughout winter as well, and it was a non-negotiable, like there was just no choice. I was gonna do this, whether it was 5 seconds, 10 seconds, but I think the minimum I agreed upon was 30 seconds. And so again would come the negotiations, and on the weekends or when I didn't have to go out of the house, I would literally put off the shower till like 11 p.m. and it was all negotiations. So that chatter is the same chatter that comes up anytime we're uncomfortable in our life or about to embark on something that we know from our heart we're supposed to do, but it creates an uncomfortable feeling in our nervous system, and we'll avoid it. So it is a beautiful way to access that nugget of that knee-jerk reaction of don't put yourself in an uncomfortable position. So the trick of the nervous system, which was imprinted from childhood, it's likely how your parents deal with stress, it's how their parents deal with stress, it's intergenerational, it's how you learned as a child to keep your world safe. And when that's challenged by this stimulus of cold water, all that chatter will come to the surface. And the key is to not fall prey to it and do the shower anyway. And eventually it'll lose its grip, because the nervous system is programmed, when there's stress as a child, your nervous system is programmed, and it's programmed to only keep you safe and do not be uncomfortable. When you're uncomfortable, you may feel unsafe and put yourself in a situation that causes stress or distress. So the nervous system is totally programmed to just keep us comfortable, which keeps us in little boxes, which is not freedom, which is prison, you know? And it's a self-made prison in our minds. And that's what we have to do, is to challenge these thoughts via any way possible. And cold showers is one way, and then there'll be many other ways. So when a patient comes into the clinic and we have to change their diet, that's another way. That triggers this unconscious again. So-and-so down the street doesn't have to do this, and I have to do this, and I grew up eating everything, and now all of a sudden I can't eat this, and you want me to change that. It's that same chatter that comes up as a shower, that will come up when you're changing anything. And then, you know, say you're about to embark on an exercise routine in the morning. You got the showers down pat, you got your diet down pat, and then now you want to wake up early and do exercise routine. That same chatter will come up, and it has to come up in every single different facet of your life until the mind feels like there's a inner transformation, and it will loosen its grip, and then embarking on new things will be less. I did a life coach training, and it was like 600 hours of life coach training with this master coach, and anything that you said you didn't want to do, you would have to do, and he would make you do it like 100 times. One of the girls in our group, she's super beautiful, super intellectual, just an amazing spirit. And a lot of our in-person conferences were in a hotel room, in a conference room. And she was so ashamed of her occupation, which was an incredible occupation, what she was doing. It was working with kids and families, and she was really ashamed of it, and she would never tell anyone what she did. And so, of course, as she brought that up, her job was to tell, I think it was like 90 people by the end of the night in the hotel, find them randomly in the lobby, what she did. Just walk up to them and tell them what she did. So what he was doing in that exercise is the same thing, that he wanted to invoke that underlying chatter that will come up when you take that cold shower. That discomfort of her inner programming of what she did for her occupation, which was amazing, kept her enslaved and in her little box. And so she told all these people, and then there's a shift of freedom, and not one of those people judged her on what she did. They were just like, that's incredible what you do. It was her inner world that was preventing her outer transformation of life, her outer experience of life, or her outer lens. And so we have to always challenge our comfort in order to change our lens of the world. How you see the world until you have reached a whole brain state is from our wounds and lens and programming. That's how you view the world. And until we can transform that, no one can change your lens for you. It's like perpetually cleaning the mirror when the person looking in the mirror needs to be changed. So you're always looking at the mirror. So you have to challenge the discomfort in order to get to that undercurrent. One of the ways, which I'm trying to illustrate today, is the cold showers. But there'll be many more. It's not like when you do this cold shower, you broke through, you've hit the mecca of like whole brain state and illuminated your consciousness and awareness. It's just one thing. So yes, I mastered that. I mastered my diet. But for me, going to the gym, that chatter is still there, and it's so convincing. Oh, it's Monday. Why don't you just take Monday off and then do it on Tuesday? We'll get the week started right, and then we'll just tack on another day on Saturday, and so on and so forth. That chatter is there still, and it will impact every relationship, every interaction, everything that you see in the world. So you're trying to illuminate that via the cold showers, and in order to become free, you have to bring that to the surface. And once you master that, you've got a different layer. So we will do anything in life in order to avoid discomfort. Anything in life. We will do it at any cost. Any emotion we feel, we will shove it right down with grabbing some food. Any discomfort we feel, we'll run to perhaps a doctor or healthcare practitioner. Any discomfort we'll feel, we'll do whatever we can to soothe it. We'll run from it. We'll talk to people. We'll keep so busy. We'll build empires because it keeps us so busy. We will sleep endlessly because, you know, it keeps us out of it, out of feeling. So we will do anything to avoid feeling uncomfortable. And this is one of the hot cold showers is one of the ways to bring up that discomfort. Does that make sense to everyone? That's the first point only, is to, you can't spill from an empty cup. Whatever comes up is in that empty cup. So when I was doing my hot cold showers, it was a negotiation of epic proportions. And sometimes I would have to get into the shower, and I allowed myself one day a week where I didn't have to do it. And so I would get into and I set the date, because otherwise the mind will negotiate. Oh, well, you swap out Tuesday for Saturday. Mine was only like on a Sunday. I would allow myself to not do it for those 30 days or whatever. But some days I was like, okay, well, today you don't have to do it. And that's how I got myself into the shower. And once I was in there, I was like, no, we're doing it. But it was such a negotiation. So does that make sense to everyone? That is what... Oh, my hair tied. That is the current that we want to get to illuminate that discomfort, because when we start to illuminate that and transform all the discomfort that we feel, is the only way we become free. Does that make sense? Any questions on that before I go to point number 2? Let me know. Just one sec. Drop my hair tie. Let me know if there's any questions. I believe, Donna, you've heard me talk about this before. I believe, Jatinder, you've probably heard me talk about hot cold showers before. I do talk about them often. I've talked about them in other talks with a different topic, but this is in relation to stress. And I can, in my write-up, I'll link a TED Talk. This one person talked about linking the fear state that we feel in our brain is linked to what's evoked in the cold shower. So Donna says, yes, it's making sense. Jatinder's throwing up a thumbs up. So great. Okay, so the cold is your mighty friend. There's Wim Hof. He made cold showers quite popular, and I've seen him, but he does cold baths. Like he fills up a tub with ice and you sit in that bath, but you do a whole breathing process before, which my next point I'll go to is breathing. But you do a whole breathing process before. You don't have to do all that. You can do a cold shower. It costs literally nothing. And the thing is, we will pay any amount to not do the lifestyle changes that are free. We will pay any amounts. And to do these lifestyle changes only enhances and sets the foundation of mastery in order to really embody what you need to embody when you are going through that transformation, like with a naturopathic practitioner. These things set the foundation for it. So that's the difference, is this getting the undercurrent, because that mind is so strong and so addicted to our storyline that we will fight tooth and nail for our story. So there's lots of times where people get highly triggered in our visits, and I know that they deep down can feel my heart, but I'm fighting their story. It's not really their soul that I'm fighting their story. And I have no problems fighting the story, because the story is an illusion and they're fiercely attached to their story. So this is what's helping to be brought up, is the hot cold shower will bring up that story that we're so attached to. Point number 2 is breathing. So when we are in the shower, I gave you the points of how to do it. I gave you the points of when not to do it. But before doing it, you really have to focus on breathing first. You have to really master breathing, because if you do that 10% just breathing from the top shallow part of your collarbone and jump into the shower, that cold water will feel 1,000 times colder, because you're in a fear state already 24/7, and then you jump into putting yourself into a higher fear state, and you will feel nothing but fear, and fear upon fear upon fear. So the way to lessen the fear state that you feel, the discomfort that you feel, is to breathe. And it could just be like in the warm part of your shower, you could just do like 10 deep belly breaths, or even before jumping into the shower, do some deep breathing. A lot of people don't have time for that. I would love it if you did have time for that. But if you don't, just do like 10 deep breaths while you're in the warm part of your shower. And then even in the hot part for a minute, just do some deep belly breathing. And then as the cold water hits, the tendency is to want to contract up. But the benefit and the real magic is when you can be in a surrendered, relaxed state and deep breathing in the cold, because you're teaching yourself, when there's discomfort in the world, I don't contract and go into that fight or flight state. You are in a surrendered state, and that will carry on into your life. You are basically teaching your body that when there is a discomfort or stress, you don't contract up and go further into that fear state, because contraction is a fear state. You will remain surrendered and relaxed, and you won't be emotionally reactive. You will be able to feel what's actually going on, because the emotions really aren't real. Those are surface programming from our nervous system to try to keep us safe. Underneath the emotions is feelings, and that's what you want to get to. And then there's, in the whole body state, you're tapped into the collective consciousness, and you are surrendered, and you are feeling deeper levels of knowing. Most of us are all stuck in the emotional level, and we're being triggered off of our pain bodies and previous emotions. And so that's really what most people survive at. You want to go deeper than that. That can only happen with surrender, and you can surrender with the breath as that cold water hits. It's also called hardening. So when you harden the nervous system, you're gradually training the nervous system to handle moderate amounts of stress. So that cold water is hardening the nervous system. When you have a nervous system that is very reactive, it will feel any emotion, and it's like a heightened response, and that pain will be projected into the entire outer world, and it's very hard to control at that point, because the emotions are so heightened, because that nervous system cannot handle very much. It's so fragile and reactive that any emotions that come to it will be poured into the outer world. So the more you harden your nervous system, and I don't mean harden like close your heart, I mean harden like strengthen your nervous system, the more you can surrender into that deeper knowing. And at the bottom is feelings and then consciousness. And so when you hit that consciousness, you are not reacting to everything that comes your way, because you feel deeper, you feel under it. Does that make sense? That comes with breath. So when you're in that state, you are breathing. You're also stimulating the vagus nerve, and I've talked about this before. When you're breathing, and the cold water stimulates the vagus nerve. So the vagus nerve is the biggest nerve that connects the brain and the gut. Most of what we feel, a lot of times, most people can feel it in their gut. They feel a knot in their stomach. They feel stressed. They feel like I had a gut reaction to it. They may even get diarrhea, constipation, whatever it is. But the link is to the brain and the guts. And so that is usually a person who's in a hypersympathetic state or fight or flight state. And so you want to stimulate their nervous system you want to stimulate their vagus nerve via the cold water will stimulate it, and the breathing will stimulate it. And actually that stressor of cold water will put you into a parasympathetic state, or that resting neutral state, when you can breathe and surrender into it. And so the cold water effectively gets you out of fight or flight and into that parasympathetic state, where we can go into that deeper undercurrent of feeling, and then the collective consciousness or source energy. And you're not stuck up here in emotions, which is totally what's going on in the current of the world today. Not taking away from anything, but there is a real trigger of the pain body and the emotional, and it's because we are not able to get deeper to the feelings and the source. So when you're in a whole body state is when you're surrendered, when the parasympathetic is surrendered. And it's called hardening. So you're using the cold water to slowly put moderate amounts of stress on the nervous system, so you can harden it. And like I said, not close your heart, but harden the nervous system so you're not so reactive. So Jatinder has a comment here. From my solar plexus to my collarbones, if I have my hand there, it will activate my anxiety. At times I'll be sleeping with my hand there and it will wake me up in panic. Why is that? It is so sensitive. Yeah, that is still stuck emotions. For you, because I know your case, there could be you are up-leveling your awareness and consciousness, and when you're up-leveling, all your old wounds will be heightened. All the stuff that you think you've been worked through, which perhaps we have done together, but when you're awakening your consciousness, it will feel like a raw wire that when it's hit, it is so much pain you cannot even imagine. But you have to keep working through that and keep breathing. Do things like the breath work, meditation, sit in that pain that's activated, and you can actually drop under it, because that pain also, you can drop under it and feel under it and under it, and you can hit source consciousness too. It's just that we think we're supposed to be attached to that pain. You can feel under it and feel under it, and soon you'll feel that that pain also can lead you to source consciousness. You just have to drop under and under and under it, and you can feel it. You just want to feel that how it can be like a 12 out of 10 pain, and then you feel under it and drop and surrender and surrender and surrender, and all these thoughts will keep coming up, like I'm not good enough, I have this, I have that, whatever, and then all of a sudden you'll feel this peace, and that means you've transmuted it. So you have to learn to detach from that pain too, because that is something that we've been addicted to. So does that make sense? You have to learn to detach from that pain body once you've recognized where it's all come from and you've done a ton of work. But it's about surrendering and falling deeper and deeper, deeper under it. And yes, it is so sensitive because that is a pain body. So every night for like 30 days, you could do a cold shower, but you could also feel that pain body and then just surrender under it. And you'll find as you keep dropping, you'll hit source consciousness. And that means to you then that you can equate every time you feel pain, you're actually feeling the collective consciousness. You're connected to the world. And so under it, you can tap into that deeper, deeper parts. So, okay, good. I'm glad that makes sense. Years ago, I used to follow this naturopath, and I don't want anyone to take this advice because even I wanted to train under her and I haven't been able to. But she's this incredible naturopath who practices very much like old school, like father of naturopathic medicines, the forefathers. And she did this hardening with her babies. So she would give them warm baths or whatever, and then do a quick like microsecond dunk into cold water. And she would do that. I don't think it was under 1 year old because the child can't regulate their nervous system under 1. So I think it was 1 above. But she would dunk them, and then that was a hardening of their nervous system. And she did that to them all along. And as they grew up, she said they're like 6 foot plus men, and they can walk into a cold ice glacier river and not even flinch. So their nervous system was hardened over the years, and it was effectively hardened. Obviously, she's this incredible naturopath. She has studies upon studies upon studies reflecting what she did, and then she obviously, did so much more for their nervous systems as they grew up, and it wasn't just a hardening. But most people, when they hear that you dunk a little baby or a toddler into a little bit of cold water, would have a heart attack. So hi there, I'm unsure if I'm being seen in the space, but super curious if the water has to be ice cold. Yeah, I already addressed that, and I said that it has to be cold. So that was first when I addressed it. So you can re-watch this, and I explained all of that. So the question is, super curious if the water has to be ice cold. Yes, I addressed that. The parasympathetic nervous system to be activated. Yes. Or is it the point to contrast to some degree? No. So when you contrast some degree, you're falling prey to the first point, that monkey brain that's just like, oh, just do it gradually. No, we want to get to the undercurrent of why your body wants to do it gradually. Bring that to the surface and drop that water to cold. Is the point we have to expose our system to some degree? Yes. So that's exactly what I've been talking about. And retrain it. Yep, that's the entire, I'm not sure if you just popped on, but please rewatch it because that's exactly what I have addressed throughout this whole talk. So she's saying that to some degree of discomfort, in order to acquaint the system with that discomfort and retrain it to recognize the discomfort as safe and friendly. yeah, no, it's not about not paying attention. All of that is really addressed in depth in the entire talk, so you can rewatch it. And the question was asked in the beginning and also answered. So yes, that's exactly what the talk is about. And so breathing is what we want to do to get our body into a whole brain state. Also stimulate the vagus nerve. So that's point number 2. Please try not to do the cold shower yet unless you get the breathing, and that could be in just your like normal, if you take a 15-minute shower, let's say, I think that's a long time, but whatever, 10 minutes of it is, you know, your normal temperature water, and do breathing, like 10 breaths in there or 20 breaths in there, and it's a deep belly breath. So you don't want to do that shallow breathing, it's a deep belly breath. And then you can do the jump to the hot and then the cold, and do not negotiate of like, I'll gradually work up to it. Do the cold, and maybe only for 4 seconds. It could be 3 seconds, but you're doing it, and always surrender to the breath. Do not clamp up, because you're negating what we're trying to retrain here. So the third part of hot cold showers and stress is to regulate the hormones and detoxify. So this simple technique will regulate the hormones. You know, everyone in North America has dysregulated hormones. Everyone, just modern living, not living on the earth, not living by waking up with the sunrise and going to sleep with the sunset. All this electricity, all these EMF frequencies around us, all of this is 24/7 disrupting our hormones. We can circumvent it though. It's not like we're slaves to it. We can circumvent it. And hot, cold showers is one of the ways to do it. It's as simple as in your shower for free. So what it does is when there is stress in the body, we generally have an elevated cortisol state, which is our fight or flight hormone, which is that sympathetic hormone. Sympathetic state will elevate our cortisol levels, which is activated when our vagus nerve is totally dysregulated. So in point number 2, when you're breathing and the cold shower, you're stimulating your vagus nerve to drop that sympathetic state, increase the relaxed state of the parasympathetic, and as that happens, you are also dropping your cortisol levels. So cortisol is also dropped and normalized. If your cortisol is elevated, it's starting to normalize, but if it's normal already, it's not dropping to a depleted state. So please don't think that when you're doing a hot cold shower, you're dropping your cortisol levels when they're already normal. If you are already normal, oh, this is Flavia's point, is awesome. I'm gonna get back to this. If you are already normal, it's not going to be like, oh, I'm crashing my cortisol. So please don't think that. This is a normalizing of your cortisol. So I'll try to do a graph. You can see it's probably backwards, but cortisol levels the highest in the morning, drops down at noon, stays about the same at 4 p.m. and goes down at midnight or 10 p.m. So when that graph is there, and most people's cortisol is above all those points, we're operating at a high level of cortisol. So when you do the hot cold showers, you're normalizing it to that graph point, and that breaks the sympathetic nervous system and allows your adrenals to retract. Also, the cold water will increase beta endorphins, so you get a really good high when you do it. You get really a real sensation of a high when you do it, and you'll feel so good. And you also get noradrenaline released in the brain, so it is a real sense. It's like an addictive high that I haven't quite experienced anything like it. I'm not a tremendous athlete, but some people I think get it from working out or doing like ultra marathons, or not even that, just like a 10K run or something like that. Maybe, you know, from snowboarding I've gotten it for sure. You get that kind of beta endorphin state, or just being in nature, just looking at the water, you can get that beta endorphin state. You can sit and look at the water, sit and look at mountains, you will get that beta endorphin state. You do get it with the hot cold showers too, trust me, it is awesome. So anyone who wants to detoxify, stress in our nervous system is from a buildup of toxicity too. That's not what it all is, but you have to hit all points, and detoxifying the nervous system is one thing we have to do, in addition to our emotions, or how we were born, how we were raised, our lens of our viewpoint of the world, but also toxic accumulation. So my whole practice is based off cellular detoxification, and the remedies I use detox at a cellular level, but hot cold showers will do that too. So they will help to eliminate toxins from our system more efficient. Oh, popped up for a bit. I hope you guys can see me still. They will eliminate toxins more efficiently when you do that hot cold state, because you are detoxifying through your breath. Your urination will be more efficient, and your bowel movements will be more efficient, and your perspiration. So that jump from hot to cold increases your white blood cell count and moves your lymph, which is your second circulatory system, and you are getting out tons of toxins. It eliminates uric acid. Like, it is huge. When we're talking about stress and removing toxins from your system, hot cold showers is what you want to do. It moves lymph. Also, esoteric point of view, when we're in stress state, we're stuck here. We're stuck in our heads. And when you're doing that hot cold shower, you're in your body. You're rooted to your breath in your body. And that's where the world is not so frenetic, and it doesn't hit your nervous system so hard. You have to live in your body. A few patients that I know or who I've treated are on here, and they know exactly what I mean. Living from here to in your body is our life's journey, really. So it is epic work. So let me read Flavia's point here. I've been doing the hot cold showers since Dr. Neetu first talked about them on Facebook Live. The first few times really suck, yes. But then it gets less bad after that. You won't love it, but you won't be screaming every time, and the breathing helps, yes. Do you feel that endorphin effect, Flavia? And what benefits, if you want to put up here, have you seen from it, nervous system wise? Have you noticed? If you care to share, I would love to hear. That's really what I wanted to share about hormones, reducing cortisol, the noradrenaline for the brain, the endorphins. And trust me, when you leave the shower, you will feel hot, warm, minimum warm, but hot. So that's what the body does. It just regulates. A lot of times we think that if we're a colder type person, you need to take a hotter shower because you'll be too cold when you get out. When you get out of that shower and you towel off, and you can warm up your skin just by the rubbing motion of the towel, you are warm and hot, trust me. That's really how the hot cold shower works. We are using the laws of healing. Yes, you get way more energy right after. It's a great way to start your morning. You are alert, you are sharp, your immune system is primed, and you're not starting your day off in a fight or flight state, which is very in that emotional body. We want to get to that deeper whole brain state, that source energy. And when you live life like that, you're not triggered. There's no triggers. It doesn't mean you're passive in your life, but you're not triggered by the whole world. You are embodied. So that's the difference. And so that's my 3 points. You can't spill from an empty cup. So whatever comes up when you do this hot cold shower, it's in there already. We want to transform it. I don't feel the cold after the shower at all, Flavia says. Yeah, me neither. I don't feel cold at all after the shower. In fact, I'm like hotter. And growing up, I was always freezing. Point number 2 is breathing and regulating the vagus nerve. And point number 3 is it's regulating the hormones and detoxifying, all in efforts to break that sympathetic state of stress that your body is in. So that was way longer than 20 minutes, but my challenge to everyone is, and I think this is important because it's such a awesome topic, and it is free, but it triggers the most deep healing. My challenge for everyone, I will be jumping on again next Monday at 1 p.m. the 22nd to do another Facebook Live regarding stress, and I believe I'm talking about the nervous system and stress. But my challenge to everyone who's on here and who hears the replay and reads the blog or reads the blog is to do from Monday, June 15th to Monday, June 22nd is a hot cold shower every single day without fail. And let us know in the Facebook group how you feel, how you're doing. Mind you, please do not do it if you have heart issues, migraine issues, blood pressure, dysregulation. If you're on your menses that week, don't do it. Try another week. But if you are able to, start with even like 4 seconds. Rewatch this if you have to, but start with 4 seconds and slowly work up and focus on the breath, because when that cold hits you, you'll want to totally contract up, and we do that in life. So when we can break that in the shower, we can relax in life. And the goal is to hit that deeper wisdom and not react through life to that emotional lens, which I would say everyone, unless they've done work, is doing, is seeing life out of that emotional lens. We are not our emotions. Our emotions are illusions. Feelings are real, and deeper than that, connections to source is the ultimate truth. You can use source as universal energy, God consciousness, whatever word you want to use, but that is the truth of who we are, and the emotions are just an illusion. And we loop into that and we make our lives very, very difficult. Does that make sense? Anyone up for the challenge? If you're up for the challenge, give me thumbs up or post in the comments later. I'm up for it. I stopped doing them for a little while, but I'm back on it this morning and I loved it. I went straight back into 90 seconds and it was awesome. I feel so hot right now, but it was amazing. And it's not something that you would even stop during winter. You would keep doing it. So it's not just a summer thing, even though we're tapping into summer now. So how does that feel? Sometimes I can't see all the comments on here, but if you throw up a thumbs up or a heart, let me know that you're in. Donna's doing a thumbs up. Are you in, Donna? 7 days cold shower challenge. Are you in? Are you in? I'm in. Flavia's already doing it, so she's in. Jatinder, for you, your work might be to feel that electric pain. So Donna's in, it looks like she's in. Feel that electric pain and sit and detach under it. Thanks, Dr. Neetu, really appreciate your service. Yeah, I definitely heard you say ice cold at the beginning. Not a total crap student, but my question was really whether it was literally has to be ice freaking cold. I guess I've been wanting that gentle approach to body. I've been finishing my showers with the cold jump, but it's not what I would describe as ice cold. So thanks. Yes, you want to trigger that chatter. Why is the body wanting that gentle approach? And that gentle approach, the way we do one thing is the way we do anything. So thank you for your vulnerability there, Jess, because it's important to admit that. And the way we do one thing is the way we do everything. So that gentle approach, you will bring it to every facet of your life. So why can't we just go to the cold? And what will it bring up? And then when it brings up whatever is in that cup, that's what we can transmute. That's the gold. That's the swampy that we want to hit. And so if you want to do that gentle approach in everything in life, what are we protecting ourselves from? And it's not at all about being a crap student. I speak fast. I drop a lot in the Facebook lives, but I always say to watch it multiple times, because I've had patients who have been with me for 6 years and now they're just starting to hear what I'm sharing. It takes a long time. With my coach, it took me 6 years to hear what he was saying. 6 years. I would listen and I knew at a soul level what he was saying was correct, but I actually couldn't embody it until 6 years. So it's not at all about being a crap student. So that you can look into too, why you would actually say that about yourself. So that is something to look into too. Why do you need the gentle? And there's lots of gems in what you've written here too. So does that make sense? It's all about being of love and in loving service of yourself. And what does it bring up? And yes, it has to be cold, because that is the jump, that's the healing. Otherwise, you're kind of just like doing a cool spritz at the end of your shower. It's not healing, but you can do it for sure, but it's not the healing that you want and that chatter that you want to bring to the surface. So really, why the gentle approach to the body? Look into that. There's tons of wisdom in this paragraph that's written here. So Donna's in, awesome. Flavia's already in, I'm in. Jatinder, I think, might be in, but if not, she's not in. She's for sure in on detonating that pain body that's triggered every night. Feel under it every night. Just detonate it for 21 to 31 days. I hope that is super helpful. I felt called to, oh, Jacinder's in too. Awesome. You only have to do like 3 seconds. It doesn't have to be anything like 90 seconds. Just 3 seconds, and it doesn't have to be your hair, but at least do your heart and breathe. You don't have to do, the whole body for 90 seconds, and count Mississippis. We don't want 1, 2, 3. We want 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. And yeah, so we'll report back next. Got a call, so missed that. No, just rewatch it. No apologies necessary. So we'll report back next Monday when I'm doing my chat again, and we'll see how the challenge goes. If you want to keep a little chart and some notes, that would be awesome, and we can tack on some time for next Monday to do that. But it's already brought up stuff, so you can see by the comments, how we talk about ourselves. Why do we want certain things in life to be gentle? Cold water, it's just a perception that it is harsh. It's not harsh. It is very healing, and all traditional cultures used to do it. So why the story? So that's what we're trying to unearth, is the stories. We're story addicts in our life. No judgment, but that's just what we are. We're story addicts. Underneath all the stories and the emotions is true emotion, and under that is source or God consciousness, and that's all we want to hit. So start with your head under the hot water and then switch to cold with your head still under, and it's easier. That's a tip from Flavia, so that's awesome. So start with your head under the hot water and then switch to cold with your head still under, and it gets easier. And she's breathing while she's doing that. Flavia is probably more hardcore than me. I don't put my head under all the time. Only when I wash my hair, which is like once every 5-6 days, I'll put my hair under. Like today I did. But I'll have my hair up, and I'll have for sure my neck, because there's fat pockets under the base of your neck that you want to hit. So I do my neck, and I always want to hit my thyroid too. So you want to stimulate your thyroid and heart. Will your skin be pinkier when you come out? For sure, but you just warm up with the towel, and always do it to your comfort. Don't force yourself. You want the jump, but you don't have to force yourself to like 5 minutes cold. Flavia is laughing because yes, she's totally hardcore, and I am not as hardcore. I went way over, you guys. I was supposed to do 20 minutes talking about cold water, and I turned into a 60-minute chat. I am off to do groceries and some meal prep for the rest of the week. And thank you so much for tuning in. That was super fun. And let's start with, if you've already taken a shower for today, let's start with tomorrow, which is the 16th, which is Tuesday, which is also when Brio is reopening. And we will do it until next Monday and just have a check-in and see how it goes. So Donna says that was awesome info. And yes, it takes multiple years to be able to hear. Our stories are so thick. It is often multiple years to be able to hear what is being shared and embody it. It takes years, trust me. So it's not just like listening to one talk and you hear it. It is a mastery. Even listening to somebody is a mastery. It takes years. And once you get it, that story, that veil is so much thinner, and you can hear it and transform so much quicker. But it takes time. We have to be very, very loving and kind to ourselves during this process. So thank you, everyone. That was super fun. Hopefully you guys are loving the different time changes and little lunchtime Facebook Live chats with Brio. And have a great day, everyone.